Hi, I'm Peter Manos, Director of Research for Utilities and Smart Grids at ARC Advisory Group, and I'm here with Amogh Bhonde of Siemens Energy. Welcome, Amogh.
Thank you, Peter. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. So, in terms of digital transformation, what would you like to say in terms of what Siemens Energy is doing for its customers and helping them in delivering value in special ways?
Peter, this is a great time in the energy industry. As you know, we're all going through a big energy transition, and we think in addition to the traditional services like gas turbines and steam turbines and such, we also offer value to our software solutions. That's the business I'm involved in. And particularly three topics that we've been working on very actively to help the industry: cybersecurity, asset management, and improving performance of assets. We have a suite called Omni Vice Digital Solutions, and we use this suite to address these problems we're talking about.
Excellent. So cybersecurity, as you mentioned, is a big area. You have best practices. What are you seeing your customers needing to backfill or improve upon most urgently?
Yeah, this is a topic we take very seriously at Siemens Energy. As you know, the industry is facing a threat constantly. We heard about the Colonial Pipeline a couple of years ago, major impact on critical infrastructure with cyber threats, right? So we have, and we also look at what the industry is doing. We discovered recently in a study that in the next 2 years, there will be over 2.5 billion new connected devices introduced in the network. Just imagine the amount of increased threat for cybersecurity for these assets looking forward. So what we're doing is we've developed a new platform. We call it the EOS platform. It's an AI-based platform that helps you manage, detect, and even respond to cyber threats. It is something that IT departments of our customers can use because they are not always familiar with the OT requirements of cybersecurity. So we use that to help them protect themselves. We also have been working with some partners to look at remote isolated assets. Many people forget that in the energy infrastructure, there are many assets in remote locations that are not often looked at. And we've developed an offering called Deep Armor, which also uses AI that protects these assets without a lot of human interface.
Beautiful. So we're looking at this whole addition of new assets that could also be adding new failure modes. And unplanned downtime, obviously, is the worst thing in our industry. So what are the ways in which you're helping your customers avoid unplanned downtime?
Yeah, this is a topic close to my heart, Peter. I started my career in maintenance, so I know all about unplanned downtime and did my best to avoid it whenever I could. And as you know, the industry is really facing some tough challenges. As the transition goes on, there's more and more renewable equipment coming in, which is good. But it puts the conventional equipment under a lot of stress because it's not designed to be so flexible as it is demanded now. That causes a potential for unplanned downtime.
Sure. Ramping up and down with a baseload asset that's not supposed to do that. Within 15-minute or other intervals and all that. Yep.
You're exactly right.
Okay.
And now add to that, as you know, the industry has also faced an aging demographic where some of the people who knew how to maintain this equipment have retired or moved on, and we find now ourselves in a place where we don't have enough people who can keep this equipment running. So what we've done is we're launching actually right now a software called Omni Vice Asset Management. Okay. It's a product that is modular. It's workflow centric, and what that means is it's designed with the operator in mind, and it combines our deep knowledge of decades of know-how of how this equipment is supposed to operate, how it is supposed to perform over time, combined with machine learning. And we have some partners who have helped us do that. Excellent. When we combine this, we've been able to detect failure months in advance in some cases, depending on the assets. And then we not only detect it, we also are able to figure out the likely cause why it might fail. And on top of that, it gives you a workflow of maintenance so that the maintenance team can go figure out what parts to buy, what parts to stock, and what is the right
critical spares and all that. So OmniWise, you mentioned with OmniWise the partner environment. So this is this whole ecosystem that's obviously getting more complex, and the partner environment. What are your thoughts on the next direction for that, and the near and long-term value that you're seeing with those?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great question, Peter. The Omnivice is one of the things we've been doing last few years, but the ecosystem is a very important topic for us. At Siemens Energy, we talk about 5 uncomfortable truths, and one of them is the one you just put your finger on, which is in this energy transition, we as Siemens Energy cannot solve all the problems on our own. So we realized quickly that we need to work with leading industry companies and universities and governments and public corporations to figure out what's the best and fastest way to solve some problems. And in doing that, we've developed a technology stack that allows our partners to come in. We make sure we gather a lot of data. We gather almost 2 terabytes of data every month from all the assets we've connected. We make this data available to our partners, and they can then develop really good business outcomes for our customers with it. And a couple of examples to give you, many people know NVIDIA. It's a leading processor company in the world, and they're helping us develop our AI capabilities, of course. We've been working with Amazon Web Services. That's a named partner for us, and they're helping us build digital twins. We have a company called Spark Cognition. It's a small startup from Austin, Texas, and they've been helping us develop our cybersecurity offerings as well. So we really take our ecosystem seriously, knowing that we cannot do this on our own.
Wow. Well, that's what we need in this more complex world. And obviously, the pandemic and economic ups and downs have made it more complicated, pushing some things. There's some tailwinds and then some headwinds. It's sort of like takes practice to operate in an environment where it's brakes and accelerator on and off. If you had your crystal ball to talk about that, what would you want your audience to most know about your positioning?
Yeah, we talk a lot about this with our partners and our industry experts like yourself, right? So there's no surprise here what the challenge is. On the bright side, the industry has a huge opportunity. We talked about the energy transition, and using software and digital technology to navigate through this is absolutely a huge opportunity, and that's why we're positioning ourselves with the software we just talked about. On the other hand, it does come with some risks, right? So think of all the connectivity that will increase over the coming decade. We have traditional physical assets, which are now slowly becoming digital assets, and it creates a bunch of challenges. And I'll just name 2 that are on top of my mind. First is that of talent. So as we talked about the aging demographics, but now we need digitally tech-savvy individuals, engineers and technicians who know how to use this technology and benefit from it. So we, in fact, have started a cybersecurity apprentice program because it's a very difficult skill to bring on board.
And sort of the OT side of that too, I'm sorry, right? It's
exactly
it's
right.
so IT focused sometimes, and you need to have the operations
Absolutely
wisdom.
Right. That's a great point. So we struggle with that because there's a lot of IT cybersecurity expertise, but in our world, the OT technology, as you said, we need to get people trained on it so they know how to navigate. So that's the cybersecurity apprentice program that's helping us do that. The other challenge that we deal with, and we'll stick on the topic of cybersecurity, is all these assets is going to increase the attack surface. And so you cannot achieve your ambitions for the energy transition or even your digital transformation without protecting these assets first. And that is where we think is a big challenge. And this community as an industry, we need to make sure we tackle that as well.
Excellent. And last thing real quickly is how would you want our audience to get in touch with you?
Best way to reach us is through our Siemens Energy website. We have a link for our offering, siemens-energy.com, Omni Vice Digital Solutions, and you'll see all the information and contact information as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, and thank you for listening. This has been Amogh Bhonde with Siemens Energy and ARC Advisory Group. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter.